Hello everyone, it's the 26th of February 2025. I'm Gary Waterman. I'm a former UK police constable, and in fact I was in Dorset Police from 2006 until 2018 when I voluntarily resigned, and that becomes relevant to this video because it features Dorset Police. Now, since 2022, I've acquired irrefutable, verifiable and corroborative evidence of decades-long international government fraud that actually involves the police and the military and the intelligence agencies, international governments, the monarchy, and in fact it appears most government organisations. And that's very likely because it's linked to the international taxation system and will therefore be worth trillions of pounds in criminally obtained money. Now, unfortunately, because it's linked to the taxation system and other payment systems, it provides a direct motive for our international governments to allow the world's problems to continue, or potentially even cause those problems in the first place, and at the very least create the illusion of those problems continuing through the criminal mainstream media that is also involved in this, to make the public therefore feel better about paying more taxes. It enables them to then, in their mind, justify requesting more taxes from the general public. And of course, this means that it enables them to exploit and victimize billions of people further through this. Now, not only does it financially affect and victimize billions of people, but it also facilitates deliberately the most awful crimes against humanity, including child trafficking and awful crimes against children, international drug trafficking, and also international conflicts. And in fact, most conflicts around the world, including World War I, will be very likely in relation to all of this fraud. And that's because it enables them, through government contracts and through illegal fraudulent entities, to launder tax contributions through into offshore accounts to defraud billions of people through that system. It also enables them the ability to take children from those international conflicts. Now, there's only one word that really explains what's been going on, and that is evil. And that does appear to be because there is a satanic element at the head of the Freemasons in relation to all of this, which I'm going to come to in another video. So since 2022, I've made numerous reports to UK police forces, but in particular Dorset Police, because that's where it started for me. And I'm going to show you some of those reports after this phone call. But this is a phone call that I made to Dorset Police yesterday about 5 to 4. So it was the 25th yesterday, 25th of February. I wanted an update in relation to the reports that I've made. So here's that phone call.
Good afternoon, Dorset Police. How can I direct your call?
Hello there. My name's Gary Waterman. Can you just confirm that the call is being recorded, please?
Yep, all our calls are recorded.
Thank you. And it's the 25th of February, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Brilliant. So I'm Gary Waterman. I'm a former Dorset police officer. Since 2022, I've acquired irrefutable, verifiable and corroborative evidence of decades-long international government fraud that actually involves Dorset Police and all UK police forces. In fact, it's international fraud. I've made numerous reports to Dorset Police over the last few months, and I've got them all here. They're all being completely ignored. Not one phone call back in relation to any of them. Can I give you some of the reference numbers, and can you look into what's going on, please?
So you're just wanting an update, sorry, in regards to the previous report?
Yeah, well, at the moment, I haven't had one phone call since the report that you've completely ignored back in July last year.
Okay, what's the reference number that you've got there, Gary?
Okay, so that one is, I've got multiple, but this one's from the 5th of July, which is TAA, Tango Alpha Alpha, 49325, 24,
yeah,
and then 4 5s in a row.
Yeah.
IR, so India Romeo 01.
Okay, lovely. What's your date of birth, Gary? And your home address, please. Thank you.
Now, obviously, I redacted or edited out those personal details.
That looks like it's an email reference number that you've given us there. Is it that you're saying that you haven't received a response to that email, or?
I've literally got the reference and then nobody has contacted me back. There's been a suspected attempt on my life in relation to this, which I put on every report. I've been defrauded. I've been harassed. We have what appears to be tens of thousands of children at risk due to the links to international child trafficking. It's basically the government's forging the company registration system to create illegal fraudulent entity companies. And the Freemasons, unfortunately, appear to be behind the whole lot.
Okay, have a look for you. Just going to have a look to see if I can find that report. Bear with me.
Thank you.
I'm going to place the line on hold. I'm going to have a quick search now for you. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. That's okay.
I'm struggling to find the email myself. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to pop you through to one of our inquiry officers, because what they'll be able to do is just take a few more details for you. They'll have a bit more access to that than I do. There is a couple of people ahead of you, so there will be a slight wait on the line. Obviously, please stay on the line, and they will obviously get to you, and obviously they'll take the details from you. Okay.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your call is.
Now that's been quite a while now. So I suspect you're trying to trace my call, unless you answer very quickly. I suspect they're going to try and trace the call because they know how big this is, and they're going to want to stop this evidence continuing. So what the police can do for a normal phone call like this is they can triangulate the call. Okay, now they often do this with missing persons or a suspect that they want to try and locate. Now I have to seriously consider that this is what they're doing at this point. So I have to end the call shortly. Now, why would they want to silence me? Well, because what I am doing is providing irrefutable evidence of international governments collaboratively working against the entire world. So it's incredibly important evidence that they will not want to be exposed.
Thank you for calling Dorset Police. What you have to say is important to us, and we're committed to ensuring that every caller has the opportunity to be heard. What you have to tell us is essential in providing you with the most effective service. During your call, our contact officer will take the time to understand your situation. We encourage you to share all relevant details so we can offer the best possible support. Please hold, and a contact officer will be with you as soon as possible.
Okay, I'm going to have to call back another time and move on, because they're probably going to try and silence me, I would think. Has to be considered, and I need to keep going for the children. Let's end this call. So after that call, I moved location. It appears I might not have moved further enough with what I'm going to show you in a moment. Everyone, so these are notes taken from my reports to the police and other organisations over the last almost 3 years. You can see at the top there, for example, the Serious Fraud Office reference number, followed by the Dorset Police Crime reference number. I urge you all to take note of this number, 55 23 00 32 731. That's 55 23 00 32 731. That's the crime report reference number back in 2023 that I made to Dorset Police. Further down there, you can see an action fraud reference number. Now, all of these organisations are linked to the international government fraud. Okay, I'm absolutely certain of it. So they're all involved in defrauding and victimising most people as part of this. Now, I'm not going to read out all of this. I'm going to scroll down slowly. Okay, and what I'm going to show you is an actual one of these police reports that I've submitted in a minute, and why that's important. And as you go down, you'll see that I have actually included a summary underneath some of these reports. For example, this one from the 26th of March. And that is where I've cut it, what I was doing on the police portal, the police website, into my notes. Okay. And as you go down, you'll see I've included my YouTube link, which shows all of the documents, which they can verify everything. 650 members of Parliament have had an actual document file link showing all of the evidence. Okay, they've since hacked, somebody's hacked, at least 2 of my public document files, and they've removed various channels that I've had showing the evidence. And here you can see the Dorset non-Dorset police reference numbers. Okay, this is where I've phoned all UK police forces bar, I think, 2 or 3. So I urge you to take a reference number of your police report number. Okay, so for example, if you're Avon and Somerset, take a reference report of RAC-X253P. And what I urge you all to do is phone on the non-emergency line. Okay, so phone 101 and go through to your police force and explain to them with this reference number that you cannot comply any further to a criminal fraudulent system. This means in relation to paying any taxes, any bills, anything, you can't, because you're aiding and abetting a criminal system. Okay, I urge you all to do this on the non-emergency number. Okay, so you should find your police force as we go down, get the reference number and make that call, make that report. Everyone in your family, okay, on the non-emergency number. You can't comply to a criminal system anymore where there is suffering to children, everybody. Further down, you'll see some other police reports that I've made. Here's a call that I made to the NSPCC, the National Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Children, on the 11th of April 2024. They're also involved in the fraud and linked to the child trafficking. That's the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. Everything is an inversion, okay? Save the children. It's an inversion. That's why they're panicking now and they're making it look as though they're investigating Save the Children, but it will be used to hide evidence in relation to what they've been up to, people. Okay, all international governments are involved. We're going to come into the inversion element of things in a minute and how that ties in. Here's another report made to Dorset Police on the 12th of April. And then the summary that I put. Okay, now, the next report's very important with the date because it ties in with some other information I'm going to show you in a minute. So you can see I made a report to Dorset Police on the 8th of May 2024, the 8th of May. Okay, now that is 6 days before the unveiling of the King Charles portrait we're going to look at. And this is again a summary of the fraud. Okay, and that was, remember, that was on the 8th of May. So this is what I put. And then after that, you can see on the 11th of May here at 12:33, I received a call from Jay Griffin of Dorset Police. He was somebody I certainly saw at work, and I explained everything to him, okay? And the only thing he wanted me to do was stop mentioning Deborah Fleming in my videos. Okay, now Deborah Fleming, those of you who don't know, is the person that called the meeting to have me removed as a director from Expool Manor Freehold Limited for refusing to commit a very serious crime of filing forged bank documents. And I explained to Jay all of the bigger issue. These reports had all been made, not a mention. Jay didn't mention these at any point. Okay, the international child trafficking, the crimes against humanity, the irrefutable evidence of the fraud. Now, I continue making reports after this phone call. You can see here 5th of July and so on and so forth. I have received absolutely no response whatsoever from any of these further reports. And we're going to look at one of the reports that I've made now. Just go down a little bit before. Oh, the DVLA side of things, just quickly on that. I'm also now identifying that all insurance companies are linked to this international fraud. So I've got a call that I've made to the DVLA, which I will publicise soon in relation to that. It means you cannot comply to anything in relation to your vehicle because you're aiding and abetting the criminal system. Now, this is one of the recent police reports that I've done. What I've done is taken screenshots from the report before it was submitted and pasted it into a document. Now, they've been very crafty because when you do an online report, you have to fill out all of the boxes, for example here, your name, etc. And then you come to a position where you review it, you then submit it, and you never see it again. But they didn't think that someone may screenshot it before you submit it. Okay, so this is why this is so important. So this is a report that I've done in relation to Grania. And Grania is a lady in Ireland that I became very fond of and was very supportive of the evidence. I've never met Grania, but this is the report that I've done in relation to it, and you can see the summary that I've put here. And this all now, again, this is divine intervention, everybody, because this now has supported, via Grania, inadvertently, the international government fraud and how it links in with Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and the Stargate project, which ties in with artificial intelligence, mRNA, and potentially very sinister plans against humanity, satanic plans, and we're going to come to that in a little bit more detail. So, of course, all of this is secured, and then they generate a reference number after you've submitted it, okay? But this is a receipt. It even says it. So we know they've received the evidence and the information, okay? So they can't say they haven't received it, because this is a receipt, as it says, okay? And the evidence has been secured. Now, let's look at Grania in a little bit more detail. Why is this so important? Well, when I started to establish the motive behind Grania's connection with me, it led into what my theory was becoming, linking into Donald Trump, into Stargate, into international government conspiracy and crimes against humanity. And when I started to find that out, Grania became very cold, and it was clear she realised, oh dear, Gary's cottoned on. This was an email I received on the 23rd of February 2025 from Grania, and that was 3 days ago now. And it says, "Hi G, when we got reconnected this time, I recorded all correspondence, as I'm sure you did." She's then mentioned her friend. They've then mentioned their friend. Has all recordings filed, and they're there if I ever need them. You speak clearly about morals in a rational state of mind, yet you have no problem using emotional manipulation on a mother who, and I've just redacted this because if it's true, it's sensitive information to Grania, and I didn't want to release that. Yet you're willing to highlight and support a mother that couldn't give a fig about walking out on her children. You called her an inspiration, and that's in relation to somebody who is supporting my evidence. She then goes on and says, "I'm filing a report now on you for mental abuse and manipulation. As I said, I've recorded everything, including you saying you can't have the world knowing you love me while you're going through your divorce." First of all, I've never said I love Grania. I did have feelings for her. I've never actually said I loved her. And of course, I'm still married to my wife. I still respect that. And Grania wanted me to come and stay with her. Many, many times she mentioned this in Ireland, and I refused. Okay, not only because I'm married and I still respect that. I'm hoping we can divorce. Unfortunately, I don't want to, but there's no other option with this. So I'm trying to ensure they can divorce. But even if I wasn't married, I can't meet anybody in person because of what I'm exposing is so huge. Reading on, it says, well, we shall see how many women come forward. I'm sure I'm not the only idiot to believe in new beginnings. Remember, she's Irish. You're vaxxed to the hilt, and you are you are already AI, you bloody fool. Already artificial intelligence. Now that ties into what we're talking about in a minute. And I responded saying, "Oh dear, Grania, I'm very sad that you appear to have turned out to be like the rest of those corrupted by this. I really thought you were different, but it now makes sense why you were willing to support someone that was pushing the elite's agenda and the connections to the fraud." This is in reference to a person called David Emery, who works with Sasha Stone and Jane Evershed. Reading on, it says, "Such a shame, because I genuinely did have feelings for you, and I have no shame in telling the world that. It seems I may have been right about you being compromised after all." Now, after I sent those emails, I have received further emails from Grania trying to placate the situation, hoping, I'm sure, that I don't release the evidence that I'm going to. These are some screenshots taken from some of the last correspondence on our WhatsApp. I'm not going to go through all of this, but if necessary, I will release all of the correspondence between Grania and I. But it's very clear that as soon as I realised what was going on in relation to the agenda linking to David Emery, Grania became very cold and decided to threaten me and do what she did. I received that email from Grania on the 23rd of February 2025, so 3 days ago. And I submitted the police report on the back of that email and publicised it. I then received this email from one of my contacts that I've been in contact with for a few months on the 24th, so 2 days ago, 24th of February. And the heading of this email is exclamation marks, re Grania, in brackets, danger, attached video. Now, I redacted the contact's email to protect them. But interestingly, not only was it sent to me, but among other people, it was also sent to Andrew Bridgen MP. You can see his email address underneath there. And the email says, Gary, I can assure you 100% that that woman is an operative. And what I mean by that is a professional killer, likely IRA. Trained. In brackets, she's not just mental. Now, I'm not claiming this. This is just what somebody has sent me in an email. Now, with everything that I've uncovered, I do suspect that the IRA is an international collaborative deception against humanity. Okay, a deception that enables them to use terrorist attacks to fit the narrative of this fraud and maintain control and fear over the people. The evidence is overwhelming to suggest that the World Trade Center disaster is linked to this fraud. Now, that suggests that our international governments are murdering their own people in relation to this. It is satanic. It is pure evil. Reading on, it says, I was on the very day that you thought I was disrupting your group because I was calling out, in brackets, what looked to you like being too confrontational with some females. And I remember this specifically. This was on my Telegram channel. Reading on, it says, I attached the video I secured, in brackets, I've removed her using my name as the beginning to protect my own identity. But that's Grania. Date, the 18th of July, 2024. Now, that date in itself is quite significant because on the 5th of July, 2024, and over the preceding days, I acquired and released evidence linking this international government fraud to very serious activities against children, linking in to the fluid taken from them at times of terror. That resulted in my YouTube channel being removed completely after I'd submitted a report in relation to a subsequent fire in Hampshire, linking back into the fraud and linking to David Icke quickly. Reading on, it says, trust me. Oh, sorry, just one bit under. It says, she direct messaged me the attached video. We're going to look at that video in a minute. Trust me, that is a threat from her to me at the time. And I'm glad I disengaged immediately. She was hoping to try to find out my looks and location by flirting. I teased her a bit, so only showed a photo with sunglasses and nature around me. It could be anywhere, really. So remember, this email copied to Andrew Bridgen MP. I'm sorry to have to do this, Grania, but the evidence in relation to this video is very important now. And we have to do what we can to safeguard humanity and children, in particular when no government organisations are responding in the way that they should to address this. Now, everyone, please notice at the end what Grania says in relation to bullets. Bullets.
Don't leave it 24 hours to be in touch. I worry about humanity full stop, and we are at war. Alright? So just say hello. Otherwise, I think some people get bullets, you know? Okay? Namaste.
Now, this was, I believe, because the contact was not replying back to Grania as quickly as she liked. So this was actually sent to the contact that that email refers to and was on that video that was sent to me. Now, remember, I phoned Dorset Police at around 5 to 4 in the afternoon. And I suspect they were trying to trace my call with triangulation. So I moved away from the location, found another place that I was hoping to stay for the night. And at around 11 p.m, I can't remember the exact time, there was a knock on the door of the van. And I called out and there was no one there. All of the curtains were closed, so I couldn't see who it was. At 23:29, I received this video from one of my contacts of Andrew Bridgen.
I'll tell you a little bombshell. I first started talking, I did an interview with an independent media company called Resistance GB in June, before the general election.
Yes.
And I exposed that the names, the companies involved in the trafficking of children into the UK for paedophilia. We'd given all the names of the people on the ground, the companies, how they're bringing them in, to the UK police, to MI5, to the National Crime Agency. And I took it to the government. I took it to the then leader of the House and the Lord Chancellor, who's supposed to be in charge of the judiciary in Parliament, all the evidence, and said, look, we've taken this to the police, taken it to MI5, we've got the recordings of speaking to them, we've taken it to the National Crime Agency, nobody wants to investigate any of this. Look at the names on here who were involved in it, look at their links, and they wouldn't get involved. I did an interview about that back in June. 4 weeks later, Leicestershire Police came and picked me up and accused me of paedophilia. That was a warning. They investigated me for 4 months. They alleged that I was a member of the Freemasons and I'd taken part in ritualised child abuse at Freemasons meetings. Liz, I've never been a member of the Freemasons. I refused to join them 30 years ago. I've never been a member, never been to a lodge meeting. And they had to drop it all after 4 months. That was my punishment. The evidence came from two insiders in Ukraine who were in Ukrainian secret services, and they were collecting the children, mainly from the Donbass. There's 9,000 children from the Donbass who've never been found, disappeared.
Wow.
These two Ukrainian secret service agents didn't know each other. They both supplied exactly the same information. I gave it to the government and the National Crime said, my intermediary source, having passed all this evidence to the National Crime Agency, 2 days later, their LinkedIn profile was checked out on their social media by someone who worked at the company that we'd implicated in laundering the money to pay for the children. So some of the National Crime Agency had told the company we tipped them off about, and they were checking out somebody in my organisation. That and never had any links with them before. Now, the two Secret Service agents in Ukraine, both of them had car bombs put under their cars. One's dead and one's survived.
But that is appalling about the car bomb. So again, all of it pointing.
I can send you the clip of one of them getting into his car and exploding. It's on security camera. I'll send it to you.
Now, after the knock at my door last night, I moved location, and then today there was another knock on my door. So I strongly suspect that Dorset Police have tracked my location via the phone call yesterday and are now involved in a collaborative effort to try and prevent me from continuing my exposure. It will not work. I have to continue to try and save the children. And I urge everybody not to have any fear. Okay, and everyone needs to get behind an international collaborative strike and shut down this system once and for all. This is the correspondence between myself and Andrew Bridgen that started on the 17th of March 2024. And you can see he responded, and we had a phone call. And that phone call was for 31 minutes here on the 17th of March. On the 4th of May, which is relevant, we'll come to that later, I sent evidence in relation to the Rishi Sunak document that linked to the Russian-Ukrainian connection to the Flemings. This then linked into the royal family and the portrait that was publicised on or unveiled, shall we say, on the 14th of May. This is a message that I sent to Andrew on the 15th of December 2024. At that point, obviously, I had certain information, and theories are changing as time goes on. But this was the message I sent.
Hi Andrew, hope you're doing okay. Someone's just sent me one of your latest videos mentioning 2030 agenda. The evidence I'm getting, Andrew, suggests that these people are literally planning to end the entire planet. It's all linked into the Vatican and the Church of England. I'm producing a document to explain all of the evidence, but it's literally all linked to what appears to be false satanic biblical prophecies that they're now rushing to expedite. I think the plan was for something big in 2030, but it now looks as though they brought everything forward because of the exposure is so big that's happening against them. But as I say, everything I'm saying is supported through documents and evidence. I've been surrounded by a pack of wolves trying to draw me in. I'm now having to expose all of them through the evidence that I've acquired over the last few months against those individuals, giving them a chance to do the right thing. But they're now all turning on me because I am literally right at the door of the truth. So anyway, if you want to have a chat about this, Andrew, please let me know. Literally everything is at stake for everybody. Now, you may have been drawn in through this company's house fraud and some other stuff, but it is way bigger than that now, Andrew. So literally everyone's families are at risk. Let me know if you want to have a chat about it anyway. Thanks, Andrew. Hope you're well. Take care. God bless. Bye.
I then continued sending all of my evidence. I'm not going to show all of this, but everything was sent to Andrew. I don't believe I had any further responses from Andrew after that, interestingly. I'm just looking through. This is just all the evidence that I'm publicising, sending it out on WhatsApp. No responses from Andrew from that point. And the latest evidence, bearing in mind we're talking about the Grania police report, was also sent to Andrew. And here you can see it here. And this appears to be Andrew Bridgen's Company's House records. 4 companies on this record. And if we go into AB Produce, filing history, incorporation. I'll just go to this way. Just doing this real time so you can see it. Incorporation document. Hopefully it loads up. Swift Incorporations and Jordan's and Son, fraudulent entity company. They're the same companies that link to AstraZeneca UK, which is all part of this international collaboration, deception against humanity. And also they're the same companies that started Export Manor Freehold Limited, where I was removed from for refusing to file forged bank documents. Now, this is an evidential document that I'm putting together in relation to Donald Trump, and it ties into the Stargate project. So I haven't finished it yet, but I just want to show you a little bit of this because I think it's going to be important. So Stargate LLC was actually started in, you can see here, been planned since 2022. Okay, now that is when I was making the inquiries within my company. Okay, so everything has been triggered from the inquiries within Export Manor Freehold Limited. Everything. You've had the Ukraine invasion. You've had the Queen pass away. You've had the 7th October 2023 attacks. You've had this fake release information of an asteroid, fake deception linking to end of world prophecies, all crime, deception. We really can't trust any of these people and what they're saying. Now, this was announced in January 2025, as you can see here, on the 21st of January, the day after Donald Trump became the president. Now, further down, all 3 companies that were mentioned as being involved in the Stargate linked to the fraud immediately, okay? They're all part of the fraud. One of them goes back to Export Manor Freehold Limited. If we go to further down, looking at Oracle, if I can find it. Bear with me. The Oracle Corporation, okay? That's one of the companies announced with Donald Trump's Stargate project. Here's Oracle, and in there you have Grania O'Toole of an Ireland location in Ireland, okay? Appointed 23rd of October 2024. Further down, this then ties in with the film company that features throughout the fraud, Ingenious, and also ties in with Trans World Group. Now, that had already featured in relation to the Julian Assange evidence that I had. Okay, here's the Julian. Now, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in this, but I need to get this out. So, Julian Assange, on that document, the research ties in with David Sorensen. And you can see here, he was Trump's aide. Okay, but he quit in 2018 for allegations against him by his wife. Also, a Mr. Porter also resigned, who was one of Donald Trump's aide, within 2 weeks, I believe. Okay, Porter, remember, Export Manor Freehold Limited, their management company was Owens and Porter, the company I was removed from. Very likely connected, possibly. But David Sorensen, through his research on LinkedIn, links to, on LinkedIn, if I can move the page. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. Links to Trans World. The same company. Trans World. Trans. Other evidence on the Julian Assange document links in with transgenderism. Okay, Chelsea Manning, the person who supplied the information to Julian Assange supposedly leading to his arrest, was a trans woman. Other research in relation to Julian Assange links to Angel Lynn, which then ties in to Hollywood links, again, all shown in the Julian Assange document, with German connections via this research. The research from David Sorensen links to most of the companies, or many of them, that have been used as a front in the fraud, all dissolving. Examples further down: York Place Company Services, at UK PLC, York Place nominees, all dissolving, linked to the fraud. Hanover Company Services, Form 10 Company Directors, Barbara Cahan, LinkedIn, Finchley Road fraud. Juice companies, ties in with potential fluid taken from children. 2012 Olympic Games companies, it appears. Climate change, Tiny Tots, pizza companies. CBD companies. And then the research goes into global dating, fraudulent entity companies all the way. And then links in very quickly to Export Manor Freehold Limited, the company I was removed from, and that was being managed by Owens and Porter Limited. A very clear link, again, from Donald Trump. There are several others that tie into this. And just to confirm, Stephen Owens within this company that had come from there, Export Manor, my name on the company, and emails between Stephen Owen and myself in relation to the management of that company and what was happening. Trans World companies then ties in with Russia. Trans World, with transgender connections in relation to the fraud, multiple connections being made. Buckingham Palace company just up there. Football clubs feature throughout the fraud. Fraudulent. Dorset Shipping Company. Let's have a look at Baphomet. Those of you who haven't heard of Baphomet, it's a figure incorporated across various occult and Western esoteric traditions. During trials starting in 1307, the Knights Templar were accused of heresy for worshipping Baphomet as a demonic idol. Baphomet subsequently resurfaced during the 19th century. Speculation and debate regarding the suppression of the Templars, with various occult and mystical traditions claiming Baphomet as a symbol of balance and synthesis, originating in teachings of the Gnostics, while others maintained Baphomet as a profane deity. Since 1856, the figure of Baphomet has been associated with the sabbatic goat illustration by Eliphas Levi, composed of binary elements representing the symbolism of the equilibrium for opposites, both human and animal, both masculine and feminine, combined in metaphysical unity. Does this relate to transgenderism and the agenda that is linked to this satanic international government fraud? Now remember, the Knights Templar appear to be linking closely with the Freemasons, and the Freemasons appear to be heavily running this international government fraud that victimizes and exploits billions of people. And it is demonic, okay? It's satanic. Let's look at Eliphas Levi. He was born as Alphonse Constant in February 1810 until 1875. Remember, Company's House, heavily linked to this fraud, was 1844 when it started. He was a French esotericist, poet and writer, initially pursuing an ecclesiastical career in the Catholic Church. He abandoned the priesthood and in his mid-20s and became a ceremonial magician. At the age of 40, he began professing knowledge of the occult. He wrote over 20 books on magic, Kabbalah, alchemical studies and occultism. Research suggests the Baphomet is an important symbol for the Church of Satan, which was first established on a particular night linking into Germany in 1966. This is a year after the incorporation of Jordans and Sons Limited, a fraudulent criminal entity company that was registered with Company's House. A year after the first foundation of the Church of Satan, the company, the London Law Agency, was also incorporated by Company's House. These two companies are the main companies in relation to the international government fraud that deliberately facilitates the most awful crimes against humanity, and in particular against the children. The London Law Agency is now in the process of dissolving after I've exposed this international fraud. In 1969, Charles becomes the Prince of Wales. This is where the main office is for Company's House, and Company's House are the ones that create the fraudulent entity companies by forging the register and forging the incorporation documents. When these illegal fraudulent entity companies dissolve, research shows that the assets go back into the Crown. Other research shows that Prince Charles, or now the King, has significant connections to the Flemings, who had removed me from Export Manor Freehold Limited for refusing to file forged bank documents, a very serious crime. In 1971, the World Economic Forum is formed. This was supposedly involving Vladimir Putin and Prince Charles, but also Klaus Schwab, who stepped down as the chair in 2024 after I sent my evidence to the World Economic Forum and FBI 3 days previously. According to research, in 1973, 2 years later, the MK Ultra program stopped. This was a program that was established decades earlier that appears to involve non-consensual experimentation on the masses, involving pharmaceuticals, subliminal messages, radiation, and other methods. It had changed its name to MK Search, and I suspect it continued. In 1977, the year I was born, 20,000 documents were declassified in relation to MK Ultra, according to the research. Research surrounding MK Ultra and its new name MK Search links back to my father's adoptive family, which appears to then tie in to evidence of the craze being involved in the potential murder of the real heir to the throne. It appears that at the same year, in 1977, the Albert Pike letter that was written to Mazzini in 1871 was removed from the British Museum Library. According to research, they've denied all knowledge of it ever since. This is a document that had set out the 3 world wars. Research suggests that Albert Pike was a very high-level Freemason. Various other things happened. Prior to 1995, when an important company called Hackluit, which links to the intelligence agencies, was incorporated on Company's House. This company links the Russian government with the Flemings, with the royal family, and with international governments to this international government fraud and a potential conspiracy to harm humanity using directed energy. This company dissolved in 2024 after I had exposed it. This is an inverted image taken from the Prince Charles portrait that was unveiled on the 14th of May 2024. You can see what appears to be a face in the middle with the horns coming out of the top. Is that the Baphomet? I suspect it probably is. This is the actual portrait in its entirety. Very satanic. And the bottom right hand corner, it appears, is where the image can be inverted when duplicated to form the horned face. This is a screenshot showing my Telegram channel and the 6th of May when I first released my evidence in relation to the Hackluit company tying all of the things that we've just spoken about together. The 6th of May. As you saw earlier, I sent that to Andrew Bridgen on the 4th of May. This is just showing the bottom of that post. And this was a post that I submitted on the May the 14th, the same day that that satanic portrait was unveiled. And this details the threat to humanity from directed energy and the weapons that I believe have been likely integrated into the mobile communication systems around the world. This is the document that was submitted, and you can see the Royal Foundation, the Prince and Princess of Wales, and how they changed their company name as I'm exposing the fraud in November 2022. With the previous change in September 2019, 2 months before the outbreak in Wuhan. Further down on the incorporation document, you can see important companies, Ingenious Film Partners 2, LLP, and the Monks Company, as well as Lloyd's TSB and Lloyd's Banking Group, which relate to the forged bank documents that I'd acquired from Export Manor. The Monks Investment Trust Public Limited Company appears to potentially pertain to abuse by monks off the coast of Wales on an island. Fraud throughout. This company then links very quickly through to JP Morgan, and therefore to Export Manor and the Fleming family. Now remember the police reports that I mentioned earlier, how significant they were, and me receiving a call on the 11th of May, the only time I received a call from somebody within Dorset Police, and they haven't contacted me since. That was 3 days before the publication of this portrait, as shown in this article on the 14th of May 2024. However, more recently, going back in and researching this portrait, it appears there's now another article with another portrait created the same day or unveiled the same day. Not quite as satanic, is it? Is this the start of a new timeline as a result of the exposure of this satanic beast system that they've created? This is now becoming significantly relevant. This was Elon Musk at a party in November 2022 as I'm making inquiries within the company. This is 3 months before his brother purchased a drone company that I suspect ties in with the international drone conspiracy. That month, July 2022, was the same month that the Georgia Guidestones were destroyed, and the same month that the acting chairman for Export Manor Freehold Limited, Anthony Roberts, resigned as the chair after I insisted that I look at the forged bank documents, or look at the bank documents at that point. You can see on Elon's chest is a picture of what appears to be the Baphomet with an upside down cross. I urge you all to get behind this evidence as soon as possible. You need to prepare, promote and participate in an international shutdown where the innocents control the rebuild. Okay, it will not take long if enough people get behind this. We cannot have a satanic, evil, criminal system in place that facilitates crimes against most. This is an incredible opportunity to prevent this from continuing. Please get behind this. I urge you to do so. Thank you very much.